What's up, everyone? We got another NFL offseason recap video. Today, we're going to be looking at the New York Giants, how their season went last year, what they've done so far in free agency, and what they should be looking for in the draft. So, last season, the Giants were a mess. They came off one of the worst off seasons I've ever witnessed, trading star receiver Odell Beckham Jr. to the Cleveland Browns for a first round pick in Jabril Peppers, and then going out and signing another slot receiver in Golden Tate when they already had Sterling Shepard in the slot, so they didn't really need another slot receiver. Overall, as a team, they finished 4-12 in the regular season, 2-4 in their division. Two of those four wins came against the Redskins, who were starting a rookie quarterback. Overall, the Giants just lacked talent on both sides of the ball. Star running back Saquon Barkley also missed a lot of time due to injury, so their offense was a little bit stagnant with rookie quarterback Daniel Jones at quarterback. Now, they finished with the 23rd best offensive DVOA. They had some gems. I think Darius Slayton, who was a late-round pick for the Giants, a huge steal for them. He had a couple of great games, 100-yard games, multi-touchdown games. He looks like he could be a potential number one receiver for them. Saquon Barkley, when he did play, he was efficient. He did what he was supposed to do. The offensive line was horrible again. Nate Solder is not living up to that big contract that Dave Gettleman signed him for. The rest of the offensive line, Will Hernandez, Mike Remmers, just didn't perform up to what they should be playing at. Evan Ingram had a somewhat down year. Daniel Jones had a lot of turnovers for a rookie quarterback, fumbles, interceptions. So not a great offensive performance by the Giants this year. Defensively, the Giants are a mess. They finished 27th in defensive DVOA. Their cornerbacks were terrible. They cut Janoris Jenkins midway through the season because of a Twitter scandal. DeAndre Baker, who is projected to be one of the best corners in the draft, just had a horrible rookie season, getting torched almost every play. They were starting 36-year-old Antoine Bethea at safety. They just had no real talent on the defensive side of the ball. I would say their best defensive player was like Marcus Golden, who had double-digit sacks this year, but that's about it. And he's a free agent right now, and he's not even signed with any team. So we'll see what the Giants do in free agency this year. But last year, defensive-wise, the Giants were not up to par, and they definitely need to get some infusion of talent this year. Now, before free agency started, the Giants made some in-house moves. They released Alec Ogletree. They released Kareem Martin, so these are two outside linebackers that they released just to try to free up some cap space. I believe they freed up to about $12.5 million worth of cap space, which they used accordingly in free agency. They also extended inside linebacker David Mayo to just keep some continuity in their linebacking core, as they released two outside linebackers and they kept one inside linebacker. Now on to free agency. Well, by this list here, it looks like the Giants signed a lot of players, right? And it looks like, okay, they probably added some good players by giving the big contracts that they have. No. The Giants made some big moves, but I mean, how many of them are really going to help their team? James Bradberry is one of the top corners in the market, behind possibly like Byron Jones and maybe Darius Slay or in Jasmine Trufant. But Darius Slay wasn't a free agent; he was just on the trading block. But Bradberry, this past year at least, just hasn't been playing up to his potential, and he hasn't been playing up to that early career form that he had. So to give him a big contract worth $14 million. I don't think he's worth that kind of money. He's not a man corner, which is what Giants run a lot. He was getting repeatedly torched by guys like Mike Evans and Julio Jones in their division. The NFC East is a weaker wide receiving core division than the NFC South. I mean, I don't think Bradbury is worth all that money. But then again, Dave Gettleman was in Carolina when James Bradberry is in Carolina. So obviously that Carolina connection brought Bradberry over to the Giants to have some continuity with his general manager. Now, Blake Martinez, this is one of the most overrated players in the NFL, and I'm going to keep saying this. Tackles are not a statistic that people should use to measure how good a player is. Blake Martinez is constantly at the top of every tackling statistic every single year. Racks up a ton of tackles, but are they good tackles? Are they behind the line of scrimmage? Are they tackles for loss? Are they good hits? Is he rushing the quarterback a lot? No. He's an average linebacker at best. And he makes a lot of tackles because he gets put in a position where he's one of the only linebackers on the field. So yeah, he's going to be around the ball a lot, but he's not making tackles where the tackle should be made, which is behind the line of scrimmage. So to give him $10 million a year, I don't see the value there. Levi and Toilolo, that's just a backup tight end for Evan Ingram, big guy. Kyler Fackrell, I like this signing. He had a good year 2 years ago before the Packers signed Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith. And he's a good rotational pass rusher, but I think we could see what he can do in a full-time role this year, especially with the Giants unlikely to sign Marcus Golden. Cameron Fleming, they brought him in to replace Mike Remmers. pretty much a swing tackle, but he'll probably play at right tackle for the Giants. Colt McCoy, 1 year, 2.4 million. This is a backup quarterback deal. Nate Ebner from the Patriots, kind of a special teams guy, but could play safety. Possibly replace Antoine Bethea at free safety, but we'll see how the Giants use him. Dion Lewis, like the signing. In case Saquon gets hurt, you don't have to start Wayne Gallman again, and Dion Lewis has shown a lot of talent when he's given time to work in the backfield and touches. Austin Johnson, Corey Coleman, these are just some depth signings. Coleman hopefully has a career revival, but I think the Giants are set at receiver with Slayton, Tate, and Shepard. Well, so far, the Giants have only had 2 free agents that have signed with other teams, and it's basically been the Chiefs for both. Mike Remmers went to the Chiefs, Antonio Hamilton went to the Chiefs. I think letting go of Remmers was a bad idea. I think he's actually better than Cameron Fleming. He can play either the left or right side if they do decide to release Nate Solder and get rid of his big contract. But they released them or let those 2 go in free agency. Marcus Golden is unsigned right now, and he had a double-digit sack season in his contract year last season. So I could see them possibly bringing him back on a maybe like a 1-year deal, like a prove-it deal, to see if he can reproduce that production again. But I don't know if he's worth more than maybe like $6 or $7 million a year. They were in the running for Jadeveon Clowney, but I think his price is too high for the Giants, who don't have like enough cap space anymore. And then finally, the Giants haven't re-signed Deion Buchanan, who was like their hybrid linebacker safety type guy. Now the Giants are picking 4th in the draft this year. Ideally, they get Chase Young. In a perfect scenario, maybe the Dolphins trade up to 2 to secure Tua, right? And then the Lions, who don't really have that big of a need on the D-line, but still want Jeffrey Okudah, they take Okudah, and then Giants, boom, they get Chase Young. In my opinion, the best player in the draft. Burrow's the best quarterback, obviously. Young is the best player by how he changes the game. So ideally they get Chase Young, but I think most likely they're going to be left with either getting a starting left tackle with Mekhi Becton, Jedrick Willis, Andrew Thomas, or Tristan Wirfs, whoever they choose. Because Gettleman loves his big guys. He loves drafting big defensive tackles or big offensive linemen. So let's see. We could see the Giants taking offensive linemen there. I think Isaiah Simmons is the best fit for them, just getting a hybrid guy. They already have Jabril Peppers, but if you are a defensive coordinator and you have these chess pieces that Isaiah Simmons can play slot corner, dime linebacker, nickel linebacker, all of these positions, you might as well take him. I mean, you're not going to find that many hybrids in the draft this year outside of Isaiah Simmons. And then finally, getting a cornerback. I would say trying to get a slot cornerback because they already have DeAndre Baker and Bradbury to play the outside. So getting a slot cornerback in the 2nd or 3rd round would be a good pick for the Giants. That is all for this NFL offseason recap video on the New York Giants. Don't forget to like, comment what do you think the Giants record will be in 2020 and who you think they should take in the draft, and subscribe.